Outside, he found he had no idea where he was going. He walked past the shell of the Lord Commander's tower, where once he'd saved the old bear from a dead man, past the spot where Ygritte had died with that sad smile on her face, past the King's Tower, where he and Saturn and deaf Dick Follard had waited for the Magnar and his Thens, past the heaped and charred remains of the great wooden stair. The inner gate was open, so Jon went down the tunnel, through the wall. He could feel the cold all around him, the weight of all that ice above his head. He walked past the place where Donal Noy and Mag the Mighty had fought and died together, through the new outer gate, and back into the pale, cold sunlight. Only then did he permit himself to stop, to take a breath, to think. Othel Yarwick was not a man of strong convictions, except when it came to wood and stone and mortar. The old bear had known that. Thorn and marsh will sway him. Yarwick will support Lord Janos, and Lord Janos will be chosen Lord Commander. And what does that leave me, if not Winterfell? A wind swirled against the wall, tugging at his cloak. He could feel the cold coming off the ice the way heat comes off a fire. Jon pulled up his hood and began to walk again. The afternoon was growing old, and the sun was low in the west. 100 yards away was the camp where King Stannis had confined his wildling captives within a ring of ditches, sharpened stakes, and high wooden fences. To his left were 3 great fire pits, where the victors had burned the bodies of all the free folk to die beneath the wall, huge pelted giants and little hornfoot men alike. The killing ground was still a desolation of scorched weeds and hardened pitch, but Mance's people had left traces of themselves everywhere. A torn hide that might have been part of a tent, a giant's maul, the wheel of a chariot, a broken spear, a pile of mammoth dung. On the edge of the haunted forest, where the tents had been, Jon found an oak wood stump and sat. Ygritte wanted me to be a wildling. Stannis wants me to be Lord of Winterfell. But what do I want? The sun crept down the sky to dip behind the wall where it curved through the western hills. Jon watched as that towering expanse of ice took on the reds and pinks of sunset. Would I sooner be hanged for a turncloak by Lord Janos, or forswear my vows, marry Val, and become the Lord of Winterfell? It seemed an easy choice when he thought of it in those terms, though if Ygritte had still been alive, it might have been even easier. Val was a stranger to him. She was not hard on the eyes, certainly, and she had been sister to Mance Rayder's queen, but still, I would need to steal her if I wanted her love. But she might give me children. I might someday hold a son of my own blood in my arms. A son was something Jon Snow had never dared dream of, since he decided to live his life on the wall. I could name him Robb. Val would want me to keep her sister's son, but we could foster him at Winterfell, and Gilly's boy as well. Sam would never need to tell his lie. We'd find a place for Gilly too, and Sam could come visit her once a year or so. Mance's son and Craster's would grow up brothers, as I once did with Robb. He wanted it, Jon knew then. He wanted it as much as he had ever wanted anything. I have always wanted it, he thought guiltily. May the gods forgive me. It was a hunger inside him, sharp as a dragon-glass blade. A hunger. He could feel it. It was food he needed, prey, a red deer that stank of fear or a great elk proud and defiant. He needed to kill and fill his belly with fresh meat and hot, dark blood. His mouth began to water with the thought. It was a long moment before he understood what was happening. When he did, he bolted to his feet. Ghost! He turned toward the wood, and there he came, padding silently out of the green dusk, the breath coming warm and white from his open jaws. Ghost! He shouted, and the direwolf broke into a run. He was leaner than he had been, but bigger as well, and the only sound he made was the soft crunch of dead leaves beneath his paws. When he reached Jon, he leapt, and they wrestled amidst the brown grass and long shadows as the stars came out above them. Gods, Wolf, where have you been? Jon said, when Ghost stopped worrying at his forearms. I thought you died on me. like Rob and Ygritte and all the rest. I've had no sense of you, not since I climbed the wall, not even in my dreams." The direwolf had no answer, but he licked Jon's face with his tongue like a wet rasp, and his eyes caught the last light and shone like two great suns. Red eyes, Jon realized, but not like Melisandre's. He had a weirwood's eyes. Red eyes, red mouth, red fur, blood and bone, like a heart tree. He belongs to the old gods, this one. And he alone of all the direwolves was white. 6 pups they'd found in the late summer snows, him and Rob. 5 that were grey and black and brown, for the 5 Starks, and 1 white as snow. He had his answer then.